What's up, everybody? It's your boy Brandon Blakeney, aka Brandon Lee TV. Welcome back to the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast. Now, kick back, relax, and come take a ride with me. We're fresh off another LSU loss. Kim Mulkey's group has lost back-to-back SEC conference games. One at home to South Carolina, one on the road in Starkville to Mississippi State. They're sliding. I don't know if they're plummeting, but they are sliding right now. It is not looking good. They cannot get stops. They don't have a point guard. They aren't playing 4 consistent quarters of basketball. There's ups, there's downs. What the heck is going on? And how can they fix it? We're going to get into all that, but before we do, make sure to hit the subscribe button for all the latest and the greatest, and join our memberships. We got that exclusive content coming daily, weekly, whenever you need it. Now, let's get into it.
You are now locked into the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast. Here is your host, Brandon Blakeney.
So we mentioned LSU has really struggled the last couple of games to play 4 consistent quarters of basketball. They've been getting off to these hot starts and winning majority of the game just to fold in the fourth quarter and end up with an L. We saw it in Starkville. We saw it when we saw them play Mississippi State, guys, where they jumped out in the first quarter, were firing on all cylinders, and then they took the lead in the halftime, only to get the doors blown off in the third, and then Mississippi State put the dagger in them in the fourth. But it's consistency on both ends of the basketball. We saw in crucial moments in this game against Mississippi State 2 plays that stood out where they could have gotten stops, and they didn't. The lay, and then on the other end, you got the tray ball for the win. And it's just, that's the dagger right there. And it's just, it's energy, it's respect, it's dignity at this point. It's the point that you are the defending champs, you got that championship DNA, and now you got to lock in and get a stop when you need a stop. You know what I'm saying? It comes down to how bad do you want it. You're not going to let nobody outwork you. You're going to make a stand. And we've seen that at times. We've seen what the capabilities of this defense is against teams like Alabama, Auburn, Arkansas. We've seen them through SEC play get it done in spurts. And Coach Kim Mulkey talked about that.
This game was one that's not surprising with the outcome, honestly. When you play a game on the road after a big game like we had with South Carolina, you kind of watch your team and see how they reacted. And we played in spurts again. You know, we had the lead and we did some things early, and then again in the second half, we can't seem to defensively get stops with this team when they matter. That's how we lost the South Carolina game. You have to make stops at this level, and we don't seem to be doing it.
We know this team has as much talent as any program in the nation right now, especially in the starting 5. There are superstars legitimately on this team. We know that. It's not a talent thing, though. It's effort at this point. It's chemistry. It's a desire. It's a want. You know, if you played defense before, you know, like, it's a commitment. It's an attitude. You have to attack, and we have not seen that. We've seen LSU get an attack. Guards just putting them on skates, getting whatever they want. They're giving up easy baskets. They're giving up open three-pointers to shooters. You know what I'm saying? They haven't been good guarding, stopping transition points in the last couple of games. You know, it's 4 quarters. It's a 4-quarter basketball game, and LSU has struggled to put together 4 quarters of basketball. We're seeing it on the defensive side of the basketball in their last 2 games, giving up 70-plus points. They're just getting scored on, and this is a team that can score with anybody, but they cannot get stops. We just heard it from Coach Kim Mulkey. They are not getting stops. They have not put together 4 quarters of just good basketball in consecutive weeks, in consecutive games. I mean, we just got to call it how it is. It's not just all the blame is on one player. Because I know in my previous video we talked about some players, and people were kind of talking about singling out Haley Van Lith, and the video wasn't about that. And yeah, she does shed some of the blame because she's absolutely getting attacked, and we saw her get benched for a time because she wasn't able to hold her up on her end on the defensive side of the basketball. But it's not just her, it's a team, it's a unit. As a unit, they are not guarding the basketball well. They are not making teams work hard enough for buckets, and teams are not scared of them. They're coming out and punching LSU in the mouth. LSU is getting off to these hot starts, and then they are fizzling out. They are fizzling out, and we continue to see it, and that's why they got back-to-back losses right now. And so I think that's the first thing. The defensive pressure, the awareness, the recognition has to be a lot better. They could not continue to keep giving up 70-plus points and expecting to win games in the SEC. It's just not feasible. And then the chemistry issue, like they need a lead guard to step up and be able to be that floor general and initiate the offense. They need somebody. Haley Van Lith, we've seen in flashes. You know, they're really letting her have the keys and run that point guard position. And we saw last game, like she got swapped out for Last Terapoa, who may need to be interjected in the starting lineup. I'm just saying, I understand Haley Van Lith came there to play point guard, but at the same time, you might have to shake things up a little bit and get someone who's more of a pass first and a defender. The only thing is, Poa is not a scoring threat at all. So, I mean, you're kind of playing, it's like Ben Simmons back in the day. You're kind of playing 4-on-5 on that side when she's in the game. But she is giving up a lot more upside on defense. The length, the speed, the physicality. She's just better on that side of the basketball. And the offense kind of flows better. Is it just me, y'all? Or do y'all feel like that too? Like, the offense flows better when Poa is in. The ball is moving better. You know, players are getting into their spots and knocking down shots. And it's just a good rhythm when she's in the game. Now, we've seen Haley Van Lith run that point guard position in spades. And she's had her ups and her downs. She's had some really good performances. And we'll acknowledge that. You know, but she came in as a bucket getter, and we just haven't seen that balance so far. So she's still figuring it out, and, you know, rightfully so. She's in a new system, on a new team, in a new position. So we're going to, you know, you got to give her some slack there. But she's been playing ball. Then, I mean, people have been saying Michaela Williams. I just think that she needs to stay off ball and continue to just focus on getting buckets right now. You know, she has an all-around game, and we know that. But she is one of the top scoring options on this team. And yes, she can create in spurts as well and get people involved. But she needs to be focused more on getting buckets. I felt like Flage was going to be a natural fit at point guard for this team. You know what I'm saying? And she's kind of been like a fourth option for this group so far this season. But, you know, she's made the most of every opportunity and been that glue player that this team can depend on. They need rebounding. They need scoring. They need defensive stops. It's really been Flage. You know, she's the best perimeter defender on this team. She has taken it upon herself, it feels like, to guard the opposition's best perimeter threat. We saw her pretty much lock up Tina Pow. Like, that was just a heck of an effort. We seen her do the same thing with Talia Scott. Like, there's a lot, you know, that she's bringing to the table. But at the same time, it's a unit thing. But I thought she would be more of a natural fit at point guard. I'm surprised. Like, you know, she's looked good just in her spot, scoring the basketball. You know, she's still getting assists, too. She played some point guard last year with this group. So I thought she would slide in there and be, you know, more of a lead guard. But they need somebody to step up and be the lead guard, the floor general for this group, to stand up and be able to initiate the offense. Because there's too much ISO ball going on, y'all. It's way too much ISO ball. There's not really many sets that are being executed. We're seeing a lot of ISO ball. It's like the NBA out there. A lot of pick and roll, a lot of ISO ball, a lot of one-on-ones. And it's limiting their production. It's so much talent here. Like, they've got to get more touches. I think they got to run the offense through Angel Reese more. She continues to just be a dominant force. We saw her get hers against South Carolina. She had another big game against Mississippi State. You know what I'm saying? She's leading the SEC in rebounding, one of the top scorers. They got to run. And maybe the answer is you have her more at like a point forward. You know, we've seen her capabilities of handling the basketball and being that playmaker. We know that's in her bag. Maybe we see a little bit more of that, of her initiating the offense and them running it through her. I think that could be beneficial. You know, we know Anissa Morrow can score the basketball, but it's about getting her in her spots and keeping her in a rhythm. You know, they're shooting bad percentages because they're hunting for shots, because everything is contested, because it's one-on-one. I mean, there lies your issue. There's got to be more ball movement. Right now, it's a whole lot of ball stoppage, and it's just not looking good for them right now, and it's causing them to lose games. This is their third loss on the season. This is their fourth loss on the season, their third SEC loss already, and, I mean, it's just a championship feels like a long shot at this point. I absolutely think that they're going to be a tough out in the NCAA tournament. But from what we're seeing, this team does not have the heart or the hunger that last year's team had. I mean, we're seeing that on the court. You know, that team last year had like this desperation to win. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, they're dealing with injuries. Losing Samaya Smith, I don't know if they're going to be able to overcome that. A double-digit score, another body down low, another offensive threat, another good defender. Like, there's so little depth. You know, Aaliyah Del Rosario is coming along, but they need more. They need more players to step up. They got to get something out of this bench, some kind of spark. They just need one player to step up, but they're dealing with that. Kateri Poole is not there as well. That's a huge loss. Her and Smith out of this lineup is just an impact that is immeasurable, and we see it. We see it. That lack of production. They don't have another guard that can come in and make plays off the bench, really. And then you don't have that double-digit scorer in Smith who could come in and relieve Angel and relieve Anissa and, you know what I'm saying, and provide that extra versatility. Those minutes fell on Del Rosario. And, I mean, she's coming along, like we said, but it's tough. It's tough, and that starting five is getting run into the ground. This reminds me of Thibodeau, Coach Tibbs with the Bulls, man, and the Knicks just running that starting five into the ground. I mean, they are playing 40 minutes on the reg, barely any subs. And, I mean, they're going 7 deep in every game. We don't even know what else is on the bench. But for Coach Kim Mulkey to not even, you know, throw something out there just to see, and especially in some of these blowout wins, like there is just no trust there in that bench unit, in those reserves. They have absolutely earned zero trust. You know what I'm saying? Like, starters are getting run into the ground. They're still struggling with the chemistry issues, becoming a team. They have a bunch of good individual players for sure, a lot of talent. But as far as a team, this isn't a great team, guys. This isn't a great team. This is a collection of great players. And it falls on the coaching staff, too. Like, you got to get players to execute. You got to put them in a position to succeed. So this falls on the coaching staff, Coach Kim Mulkey and them, just as much as the players at this point. Because they just haven't looked like a cohesive unit. Just not good team basketball. So they got to figure out who's going to be the lead guard. They got to figure out how to put 4 quarters of basketball, consistently good basketball, play a complete game. And they got to figure out a way to get stops on the defensive end. That's what we're seeing right now. I think those are the biggest takeaways for me right now. You know, do they move Haley Van Lith to the bench and start Laz Terpoa? I don't know. Maybe they haven't figured out their best 5. It kind of feels like they might not You know, they might need that spark off the bench more so than all that firepower in their starting lineup, maybe. I don't know. Maybe Van Liv finds her rhythm off the bench and, you know, gets moved back into the starting lineup. I don't know. Maybe they need to run it through Angel a little more. Maybe Flage should be, you know, getting a chance to run that unit as well, be the lead guard and make plays, because we know she can do that. Y'all let me know in the comments, man. Holler at your boy. Let me know how y'all feel about all this, because it's a lot going on. It's a lot of games left. It's a lot of time to improve. But speaking of today, right now, and how we feeling, and what LSU has shown us in the last 2 contests, we might need to be a little bit worried, folks. But y'all let me know. Holler at your boy. That's a wrap for us. For all the latest and the greatest, I am Brandon Blakeney, a.k.a. Brandon Lee TV. Until next time, hey, we out.